Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. So today is Sunday, which means it is Swatching Sunday. So we are in for another journey of discovery through my ink samples. And if we could have just a moment of silence for our poor fallen glass nib friend who bit the dust last week. So this week we are back to my little red and purple friend who has always done the job admirably and has not managed to fall on a hard surface and break itself. I entirely blame the pen for the accident last week. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, I did want to mention, you may remember last week, the terrible accident with the glass nib pen happened because I was trying to add the name of the ink to this card because I wrote the brand really big, but I forgot to put the ink name on there. So when I went back to try to put the ink name on it, that's when I dropped the pen. So I did go back and put the name on, and then I noticed that I had another sample of Solferino in the rack. So I have combined those samples into one completely full sample vial, which is good. So I've got a whole 5 milliliters of Solferino to play with, which left me with a hole. I just noticed there's another hole on the rack right there. Oh. Let's take a look at the rack here. That was full a moment ago. So where did that... Oh. It's right there in the tilt well. Okay, whew, I'm losing my mind. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I went through some of my untested samples and picked out a couple to fill in the holes. And I did peek at the first one, and I am quite excited about it. So we ended last week on the Robert Oster Jade. So let's go ahead and get started with our inks for this week. And this is the one I'm so excited about. This is a Mont Blanc ink. Only my second Mont Blanc ink ever. This is Mont Blanc Petrol. And this came from Anderson. And I don't know of any other pen retailer that sells Mont Blanc samples. If you know of anybody else that sells them, please let me know. Anderson does have quite a few different Mont Blanc samples, but it seems like they're always out. So I never seem to catch them when they're in stock. So if you know of a place where I can get me some more Mont Blanc ink samples, please let me know. Because I would definitely like to try some more of their inks. That Irish green that Sarah sent me is so fabulous. It's beautiful and it flows so well. I just love it. Okay, so my second Mont Blanc ink of all time. I'm very excited. Ooh, and there's dog hair on the card. All right, this is Mont Blanc Petrol. Ooh, that is so nice. I have never tried the famous Lamy Petrol, so I got this thinking that, you know, it might be a comparison, but I don't have any Petrol to compare it with, so I don't know. So if you have some Lamy Petrol, please let me know if you think if this one would compare to that Lamy ink. It's pretty funny, I could get a sample of the Mont Blanc Petrol, but I haven't been able to get my hands on the Lamy Petrol. One costs about twice as much as the other and is half as hard to get. Wow, that's lovely. It's kind of a teal color. It's very nice. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a bottle of this ink available for sale anywhere. So, again, I got the sample from Anderson, but I don't know if they had the bottles too. I would imagine they would because, you know, why would they sell samples if they don't have the bottles? But it is a lovely color. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc. I love that guy from, is it the Gentleman's Stationery? The Gentleman's Stationer? I can't remember. But, he's European, and I don't want to offend him by calling him the wrong nationality, but I think he might be German, and he just has the best accent. And sometimes in his videos, he will give you the proper pronunciations of different brands. Those videos are so much fun to watch. All right, this is Califolio Adrianople. I've heard many good things about this one. And I think, my goodness, was this in my, it was. This was in my ink flight, the Califolio ink flight. Well, you know what that means. This is a duplicate that needs to be combined with that one, and I've already swatched this one from the ink flight, so we need to fill in that hole with another new ink. So I'm going to reach into my mystery box over here, and here we have some little guys that haven't even been unwrapped from their packaging. Okay, I'm not going to look at these. I'm gonna surprise everybody. When they're all wrapped up, it's in a bag and everything. My goodness, it's in a plastic bag. So much packaging. I was looking at the Instagram of Ink Journal, and they've been doing giveaways on the Ink Journal Instagram. And sorry, I'm trying to get this package open. And he asked, what would you do to improve the pen world, the fountain pen world? And somebody said less packaging, and I have to agree. I know so many pens come in these lovely boxes, but I'm not one that keeps the boxes, so, you know, I unwrap the pen and I toss the box and the pen goes in my pen case. Which means if I ever sell a pen, I won't have a box to put it in, but that's hardly a reason for me to keep the pen. So I agree. I feel like less packaging would be a good thing, or at least to have the option of having less packaging. If you're not a box collector, then can't the companies just wrap up your pen in some bubble wrap and ship it to you that way? I think that would make perfect sense. And then they could save the boxes for the people that really want them. Okay, this is Robert Oster Blue Lagoon. And I'm sure at this point you guys are all familiar with Ink Journal, but if you haven't checked them out, be sure to check out their website and their Instagram, because he's always posting lovely photos of pens and inks. All right, another Robert Oster. Yes, I have a gazillion Robert Oster samples because I just can't decide which bottles I want to buy. Ooh, the section is wet. What did I put my hand in? Not inky though. I don't know. Okay, Robert Oster Blue Lagoon. That makes me think of Diamine Aqua Lagoon. I wonder how similar those two inks are. It's a nice name though, Blue Lagoon. Oh yeah, there was that 80s movie with Brooke Shields when she was very, very young. All right. Ooh, well, isn't that pretty? I would definitely say that is the color of a Blue Lagoon. Gosh, Robert Oster just has the prettiest colors. And really fun names, too. All right, it's feeling a little bit dry. Let's see if I can get a drip out of this guy. Historically, with Robert Oster, I cannot. It's trying, but we got a large blob. Okay. Oh, and a smaller blob. Okay, no drips for the Robert Oster, but such a pretty color. I would be willing to work with this one and get some lubricant for it or something. Some of that Van Ness White Lightning. Oh my goodness. I just ordered a couple of things from Van Ness, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't get some of the White Lightning. I can't believe it. I have to write these things down or I forget. Okay, so who do we have next? This is another Robert Oster, and this is Morning Mist. Oh, I'm not familiar with this one at all. Of course, I was familiar enough with it to purchase it, but I don't think I've seen anybody else use this in a video. So this will be a discovery for us all. Ooh, just not getting those stickers on very well. That's okay. All right, so this is Robert Oster. Wow, this seems really light. Let me dip a little bit more. See if that helps. A little bit. Robert Oster. And what did we say this was? Morning Mist? Morning Mist. Reminds me of a song I used to listen to over at my grandmother's house. Oh gosh, the Letterman. My grandmother, well, she had a pretty substantial record collection, probably leftovers from my mom and my aunt, but she had a record by the Letterman, which was, I think, a 60, kind of the 60s version of a boy band, I guess, and they had beautiful harmony. But they did a version of Love is the Many Splendored Thing. And the line is, in the morning mist, two lovers kissed. And I just realized I wrote Mister instead of Mist. I was distracted by the Letterman. Anyway, I used to love listening to that record. But I have to say my favorite record that I listened to at my grandmother's house was a compilation of cowboy songs. Oh, those were the best. The Tennessee Stud, that was my favorite. Yeah, she had quite an eclectic record collection. The Morning Mister. That is too funny. Okay. All right, who else do we have here? Let's see. This is a Sailor Ink Studio 462. All right. I have not explored the Ink Studio inks very far past the first ones that everybody raved about, which were, gosh, what were they? 1, 2, 3. Was it 123, 143, and 162? I think I have bottles of each one of those, but I haven't really used them very much. I'm just so overwhelmed by the number of the Ink Studio inks. Oh, and I think I might have to sneeze. Excuse me. Nope, sip of coffee. But since Goulet very nicely offers samples of the Ink Studio inks, then we can try some of them out before purchasing a bottle. So this is Sailor Ink Studio. Oh dear, what did we say? 462. It's kind of a very dark teal green, I would say. Very interesting. And then I have to wonder, why did I pick this ink? Or perhaps this was a random sample. I do love putting the random samples in my cart whenever I order from Goulet, but then I forget later on that they were random samples, and I wonder why I got that particular ink, even though I didn't choose it. It's so funny. But this is a great way to try these inks out. Ooh, wow. Oh, that is a really interesting green, and it's so thin. It has that really thin, watery consistency of like the 123. It's just much darker. It's much more pigmented. The 123 is so pale. Wow, that is really interesting. Yeah, this must have been a random sample because I can't imagine why I would have picked this ink out of the 100 inks. But can you see that very well? It's kind of a green, but it has sort of a brown undertone. That is really interesting. And I am working with some natural light today, but It's still not the best light. The only thing I like about summer is good lighting. Ooh, uh-oh. Okay. I just threw my Q-tip in the used Q-tip pile, and I don't remember which one was the correct one, so I'll have to dip again to do my lid, but that's okay. Ooh, isn't that interesting? It's kind of a, it's like a watery dark green. It's so interesting. I just love these new ink formulas that companies have been playing around with. They're so fun. Inks are fun in general. They're just so much fun to play with. All right, this is Organic Studio Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson. You know, I think I have a sample of this, and I think I swatched it back when I was doing my blue ink marathon, but it was really funky looking. I think it had gotten thick, so I think I reordered this one. So I'm going to go ahead and re-swatch it, because I think that other ink was just funky. It's a beautiful color, but the ink was just a weird consistency, you know? And anytime stuff gets weird on you, don't use it. You know what they say, when in doubt, throw it out. So, even though I really enjoyed that color, I just didn't trust it. So let's see if this one reacts in the same way. Ooh, that's a lot of ink. Okay, so what did we say? This is Organic Studio. Can I squeeze this on one line? Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's very pretty. I have to tell you, when I was in high school, I was in a play called The Night Thoreau Spent in Jail. And I played Thoreau's mother. And his name wasn't Henry David. It was David Henry. But I don't know, was he dyslexic? Has that ever been proven? But he was always flipping stuff around. So I got to call him David Henry. And Emerson was in there too. It was pretty fun. Ooh, yes. So this is a gorgeous dark teal ink, but it's got that crazy sheen that Organic Studio seems to be known for. And it's trying to drip. Come on, baby. There we go. Well, that should be very sheeny. But you can already see on the writing. Can you see on the writing? It's already turning pink. Well, I can see on the writing. It's already got some pink-looking sheen on it. And it's starting to dry, and you could see some of that pink sheen. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. Okay. I'm glad I did repurchase this sample, because the other one was just not right. And, since I only had a sample, I only had to throw away a sample instead of throwing out the whole bottle. But I do have a couple of bottles of Organic Studio. I don't know if they've gone bad. I bought them at my first pen show, which was in Baltimore in 2018. So, gosh, that was 3 years ago. Can you believe it was 3 years ago? So I guess I need to check them out and see how they're doing. Okay, this is Sailor Ink Studio 735. All right, I have no idea what this is going to look like. And I know that Manda B has been going through the Ink Studio inks, but I am just not a numbers person, and the numbers, they just go in one ear and out the other. You know, like the 1, 2, 3, that kind of like, is it a green? I saw somebody swatch it the other day, and I swear it was blue. Anyway, just for the sake of argument, let's say it's a green. I would have a much better time remembering the ink if they called it, for example, foggy green. But 1, 2, 3, see, I've already forgotten this number. 735. Let me write this down before I forget. Sailor Ink Studio. Nope, couldn't do it. Already forgot. 735. Numbers are not my jam. So yeah, if the inks all had names, I could remember them so much better. But I guess they made 100 inks and it would be too hard to come up with 100 names, but come on. They could think of 100 names. And I just whacked my glass nib against my glass jar. Oh, please don't chip. I don't have another glass nib. Okay, it seems okay. It doesn't seem chipped. Whew. That's how I broke my other 2 glass pens, was by, well, honestly, I wasn't just stirring them around in the water. I dropped them down into the water, thinking that, what, the water would break the fall of the glass nib pen? Oh, I just wasn't thinking. Ooh, wow. You know, I still have my Sailor Wicked Witch of the West that I have not inked up. I wonder if this would be a nice ink to put in it. I think yes. Oh, not getting a drip here. Come on. We love our drips. Because I was trying to think of what purple Sailor inks I have. Because it said in the packaging, it's a black nib. And they say that other inks might affect the finish of the black nib. So, I suppose I should use a black ink. Well, dagnabbit, I did it again. I put the Q-tip in the dirty Q-tip pile. Okay, I think this is the right one. We're going to take a chance and we're going to think this is the right one. Yeah, it looks right. Now I'm remembering to put the sticker on the swatches, on the bottles. But now I have to actually remember to put ink on the sticker. Okay. Well, that is lovely. Ooh, and I see some green sheen coming out. Oh, that is going to be so pretty when it dries. Okay, who's next? Let's see. This is Diatrimentis Hyacinth. Ooh, that's very pretty. Let's see. I don't have a lot of Diatrimentis inks. I have a bottle of Alexander Hamilton, and I have a bottle that Sarah sent me. Oh, I'm going to get the name wrong. Magenta Violet, I think. And I have a bottle called Sky Blue Myrrh. That was the first bottle of Diatrimentis ink that I bought. And I bought it because it was on clearance. And I really don't like it. Although I don't know why I don't like it. It's a pretty turquoise. But it has just never appealed to me. And I have a bunch of different turquoise inks. Let me make sure I'm spelling this right. Hyacinth. So, I don't know. I guess I need to give it another chance. Because I love Navajo turquoise. That is such a pretty ink. And the Sky Blue Myrrh isn't too far off of that, so I need to give it another chance. Well, you can't talk about Hyacinth without talking about that wonderful British sitcom, Keeping Up Appearances. Have you guys ever seen that? You probably have. I'm sure everybody on the planet has seen that sitcom. If you have not seen Keeping Up Appearances, rush to your streaming service of choice and watch Keeping Up Appearances. Hyacinth Bouquet. There is nobody else like her in the world. Ooh, we got quite a runner on that one. Wow. That is a lovely purpley blue. So pretty. And it looks like there's some shading in the writing. Oh, that one's very nice. Oh, let me get the sticker. All right. I like this one a lot. I need to explore some more Diatrimentis inks. Let's see. All right. Now, who is this one? Ooh, Sailor Ink Studio 941. Well, I must have gotten just a whole bunch of Ink Studio inks. because I don't remember ordering any of these. Uh-oh. Oh, my little labels are wet. I must have dripped from the water. So I will have to get them out of harm's way. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting low on stickers. I'm going to make sure I've got some more. Let's see. And there's a little schmutz on his label right there. But I think we can live with that. I don't think it'll discolor the whole thing. Okay, we're going to try to remember this number. Sailor Ink Studio 941. Okay, everybody remember 941. I will try to get this written down before I forget. Okay. Sailor Ink Studio 941. All right, I remembered. I'm so happy. And now there's so much ink on this nib. Again, I just hate wasting all of that ink, but what am I going to do with it? I don't know. For a while there, I had one of those Dollar General, what do you call them? Like the letter writing pads. And I would just write a couple of sentences with the glass nib to use up the ink. Because I hate not using it, you know. I should start doing that again. Because then I can see what a little bit of the writing looks like. Wow, this one is so dark. Now we're going to have a funny spot in the middle where I rub the nib. But that's okay. That'll give me something to wonder about later when I've forgotten what I did. Okay, we're going to try to get a drip here. It's trying. Got a little tiny drip. Wow, this kind of looks like the Ralph Waldo Emerson. I see some similarities in a lot of our inks today. And that was completely unintentional. Actually, if you look at the rack here, it's a lot of very similar colors. Which is okay with me, because these are all colors that I like, but I guess I do need to branch out into some brighter colors. These all seem very kind of cool and muted, but so pretty. I'm not complaining about the colors at all. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always seem to stop and count at number 8, but that is okay. Okay. Oh, and here we have another one, Sailor Ink Studio 935. I think we're going to have just enough stickers to do for today, because one of them got messed up with the water. Okay, so this is Sailor Ink Studio 935. Got to remember, 935. Yeah, there's some water on the pen, too. Where's all this water coming from? Is there a leak in the ceiling? Okay. Sailor Ink Studio. 935. 935. Ooh, and again, look at all that pretty ink. Waste not, want not. That is just not helping at all. Okay. Oh, well. I think I read something about the Ink Studio inks that the higher the number, the more sheen there is. The lower numbers are better shaders and the higher numbers are better sheeners. Does that sound about right? Has anybody else heard that? There has to be some kind of method to their madness, because you don't make 100 inks without having some kind of plan. Ooh, oh. I think this one might need to go in my Wicked Witch of the West. Oh, wow. That's lovely. That's really lovely. Ooh, and nice and wet, too. My goodness. He just ran all over the place. Whoop, there goes the cap. Ooh, I like this one a lot. Very pretty. Oh, I hear Gus making snorting noises. Hang on, buddy. I'm almost done. Okay. Oh, it's another ink studio. I didn't mean for all these ink studios to be in one video, but that's okay. They just randomly got in the rack the way they got in the rack. Okay, this is Sailor Ink Studio 442. So this one is lower down on the numbers. So does that mean it's going to be more shading, maybe? Oh, uh-oh. Haha. I think I have thwarted my camera. I caught it just before it shut off. So we shouldn't have any weird interruptions today, thank goodness. Okay, so this is Sailor Ink Studio 442. Gotta remember that. 442. Oh, gotta take the lid off. 442. Let's see. Ooh, gotta get it down in there. I'm trying to dip it here. Got a little ink on there. Let's see. Okay, 442. Sailor Ink Studio 442. It looks like a very dark blue. Let's see. Wow. It's coming out much lighter than I was expecting, but ooh, it seems really dry. Let me dip again. Yeah, it's kind of scraping over the paper. Of course, this is watercolor paper, so it is pretty textured. But still, sometimes the Q-tips just glide over the paper, and then sometimes like this, they're really scraping. Oh my goodness. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get a drip out of this guy because he is so dry. Nope. Barely getting a blob there. Wow. It's so weird. The properties of some of these inks are so different. Let's see. Again, I'm trying to put ink on the label without it pilling because the paper can pill. Alrighty. Let's see. Alright. Well, I will give these a chance to dry, and then I will come back and show you what they look like. So I will see you in a minute. Alright, so let's take a look at those inks. First up we have the Mont Blanc Petrol. It's a nice teal with lots of red sheen. Let's see. This is going to be one of those days where I'm fighting the sheen. But there's lots and lots of red sheen on this one. Gosh, if anybody knows the trick to getting sheen to show up, let me know. Because I'm right in front of a window. Anyway. Very pretty. And very excited about my second Mont Blanc ink of all time. Alright, then we have Robert Oster Blue Lagoon. And this is showing up as a brighter turquoise than it is on the camera. And I've got my two little blobs here, which didn't drip at all, but they do have some bright pink sheen around those edges. I don't know if we can see that a little bit, but it's really bright. It's a bright blue with some bright pink sheen. Very pretty. I need to compare him to some of my other turquoises, because it doesn't look like it on the camera, but it's definitely a turquoise. Now here is the Robert Oster Morning Mister. Obviously I wrote that wrong. It's Morning Mist. But I thought it was too funny to redo it. So the Morning Mister. And this is a lovely soft green. Would we call that a mint green? It's very nice, and a little tiny bit of some red sheen on there. Can we get that red sheen to show up? Just a little bit, not overwhelming. I don't think it's going to show up on the camera though. But it's a very pretty green. A pale green. All right, here is the first of our Ink Studio inks. This is Ink Studio 462, and this is kind of a dark grayish green. And the bands where I did the swipes, I do see some kind of brownish undertones. I don't know if they're going to show up on the camera very well, but it does look like there's some other colors in the mix here, not just green. And this has a hint of some purple sheen. Can we see that? Maybe a little bit. But this is a very interesting color. And on camera it's looking just gray, but it's definitely a green in person. It's a grayish green. All right, and next up we have my redo of the Organic Studio Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I had a sample. I think it went bad because it was kind of gloppy. The color was still nice though. And this is beautiful. It is a gorgeous dark teal with monster pink sheen. Ooh, I know you guys can see that, but it's even more dramatic in person. My goodness. Such a pretty ink. The Organic Studio inks, at least the ones that I've tried, are very dramatic and a lot of fun to use. All right, next up we have another of our Ink Studio inks. This is 735, and this is kind of a reddish purple with a lot of green sheen. You can really see that sheen showing up. It's so weird. Why is this one sheening so well? I mean, why is this one showing the sheen so well? And I'm having trouble with the other ones, because boy, his sheen is just really popping out. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a quality about the sheen that make them reflect light better. But very pretty purple. All right, next up we have Diatrimentis Hyacinth. And this is a beautiful soft blue, and as you can see from the drip, it's very, very wet. And this does have some red sheen around the edges. Again, the sheen just does not want to show up very well, but all around the dark area, it's got some red sheen. Very nice blue. And then we have another Sailor Ink Studio. This is 941, a dark teal. And he does have some red sheen on the dark area, if we can get that to show up. But not very well. But we do seem to have quite a few dark teals this time. So let's go ahead and compare these guys. So we've got the Ralph Waldo Emerson. I would say that's a more saturated teal. They're both pretty dark. And of course the sheen on the Organic Studio is showing up much better. It has much more sheen. There's more of it to show. But the 941 has some sheen, but it's much more subtle. So if you're not crazy about those sheen monsters, then 941 might be a good dark teal for you. And also, let's not forget about our Petrol over here. This one's definitely lighter, but they're both in the teal family. And of course, the Mont Blanc has quite a bit of sheen too, which you can sort of see. So I would say Ink Studio is darker, but Petrol has more sheen. Very interesting. All right, and then we have Sailor Ink Studio 935. And this is another purple, darker than the 735, and just crazy sheen. Very wet and very sheeny. And let's compare these two guys. So the 735 is definitely lighter, and I would say a little bit redder. The 935 is a very dark purple, but they both have that bright green sheen. So depending on what tone of purple you're going for, either one of these might be good for you. But I think this is the one that I want to put in my Wicked Witch of the West. So pretty. And it'll be fun to get some of these inks in a pen. All right, and last but not least, we have Sailor Ink Studio 442. And this is a nice soft blue. Not very wet, And I don't see any sheen. There might be a hint of shading on it, but not too much. Let's see. Let's compare him to the Hyacinth. They're both kind of softer blues, but the Ink Studio, I think, is a bit more on the gray side, a bit cooler. And of course the Hyacinth has that nice red sheen to it. Alrighty, well those are our inks for today. And I hope you found these interesting. And hopefully you enjoyed some of these colors. So if you have a favorite color, please let me know. I'm always interested to know what kind of inks people are interested in. And if you've ever had an ink go bad, however it went bad, let me know about that. I still have this other one over here. Which one was that? Oh, that was the Diatrimentis document ink. And it got all grainy and funky. Ooh, yeah. Can you see that? It's just like, it's like grainy. It's crazy. And then the Emerson got gloppy. So, you know, stuff happens to ink. They're made of all natural ingredients, I think. So, you know, stuff happens to them. So, tell me about your worst ink going bad story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.